my name is Laura, and the name of my speech is Free Me. Sounds like kind of a strange name for a speech, but in a minute you'll understand why. You'll understand why I'm standing here holding a dog, and why animals mean so much to me as a Christian. I believe that it's one of the most important things that we can think about. Past our salvation, and that's what we all need to know, is know if we are Christians and we've invited Jesus into our heart. But the next most important thing that God values so much is the dominion that He's given us over animals. And in my world, that means caring, and caring for animals. So I'd like to begin my speech with introducing my audience. This is Zahava, and she's an elementary school student. And this is Julian, he's in the first grade. And this is Zoya, he's a college student. And this is Zipporah, and she's in the 8th grade. 10.2 billion land animals in the United States are used for food. 18 billion marine animals, food in the United States. 300 million turkeys, 9 billion chickens. That's just something that we need to all look at when we think of what we're eating and what we're doing. 3,500 gallons of water is what it takes to make one steak. 10 to 20 times more land to produce land animal use than it is to produce crops. 89,000 pounds of fecal matter in the United States is produced from factory farming in the United States. 792,000 gallons of water to produce a 1,000 pound steer. 300 million turkeys, 9 billion chickens in the U.S. alone are used for food. Another thing that happens in factory farms, 80% of the sows that we see and we consume through different meat places like Hormel, etc., are confined to gestational crates for their whole life. This is a crate that they can't turn around in. It's 1 foot larger than their body, and they're confined to this for their whole life. I see this as something that Jesus would have never wanted. I see a different way that He would have wanted us to live. And this brings me to the third part of my speech. In Genesis 2:15, God instructed Adam to till and keep the Garden of Eden, and by analogy we see caring for God's creatures as our sacred task. So I'd like to end my speech today by saying that I believe that the impact that we have had on the environment with factory farming needs to come to an end. I believe that we can do this by having a diet that God had intended for us all along in Genesis 1:29, when He said that I give you every herb-bearing seed for meat. I'd like to share a scripture that I can end with. Genesis 2:15. God instructed Adam to till and keep the Garden of Eden, and by analogy we see caring for God's creation as our sacred task. I see that if we were in Bible times, that we would eat a plant-based diet, that we would not kill and murder billions of animals a year. And I do think that we would make the world a better place. And indeed, we would free the animals.
I just want to feel what life should be. I just want enough space to turn around and face the truth. So free.